Hello and welcome to Sunday Stories for Families Christmas Bake-Along. I'm Sam.
And I am Frederick Fry, the great chef extraordinaire, Michelin-starred at the newly opened St. Ebbe's kitchen. What are we going to do, Sam?
We're here to bake with you at home. So below in the description, you'll find all the ingredients you need, all the equipment you need, so that we can make some starry jam tarts.
Starry jam tarts. Is there anything else we need to do first?
Oh, yes. But first, before we start, we need to make sure that our hands are sparkly and clean so there's no germs on them.
Ah, look, my hands are already done. Sparkly, yes. Can you see? Oui, très bien.
And then we might get messy because there's flour and eggs, so we need to make sure we're wearing clothes that we don't mind getting messy, or maybe an apron if you've got one at home.
See. So, jam tarts?
Yeah.
Starry jam tarts?
Starry jam tarts.
Oh, I have never made some. Aha, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I've actually made some earlier, so we have some
Did
here.
you?
Look, these are our starry jam tarts.
Oh, do you know, they remind me of a story in the Bible about stars. Maybe not jam tarts, but stars? Yes?
Yeah, a story in the Bible about stars and wise men.
Oh, tremendous. I can't wait to hear. So, Sam, tell us about the story of the three kings.
Oh, Friedrich, no, it's not actually a story about three kings. It's actually a story about magi from the east.
So, we three kings from Orient are? No?
No, we don't even know how many there were. But don't worry, we're going to look at the Bible and look at the story together.
Oh, Sam, I can't wait. Tell us, please.
Okay, King Jesus was born in a little out-of-the-way place called Bethlehem. And it was at the time when Herod was ruling over Israel. But Herod wasn't really king. Herod was just placed there by the Romans. And a star came.
Ah, the star, our starry pastry. See, yes, there's the star.
Yeah, the star. And magi from the east, they saw the star and knew that it meant that there was a king that had been born.
Either the magi or some of them, we think, yes.
Yeah, the king of the Jews had been born. And they came to Jerusalem to King Herod to come and find him.
Why Jerusalem?
Well, you're right. King Jesus was born in Bethlehem, but Jerusalem is the place that you'd go to find a king. So if you wanted to find a king or queen here in this country, where would you go, Friedrich?
Well, in my home country, we would go to Paris, but I guess here it'd be London.
Yeah, you'd go to London. You'd go to Buckingham Palace.
Oh.
And that's a bit like what the Magi did here. They went to the most obvious place to find the king.
But he wasn't there.
No, he was in Bethlehem.
What was he doing down there?
Well, actually, God had said hundreds of years before through the prophet Micah that he was going to be born in Bethlehem. His king was going to be born in Bethlehem.
So it's all to do with God, yes?
Yeah, this is just God showing us that his word never fails.
I get it, I think. I do get it, yes, it's great.
What a great story it is. Those wise men following that star. How exciting. I don't think I'd have been able to go as a reindeer. Do you? Anyway, I'm not really a reindeer. I'm Annabelle, and it's really nice to be here with you. We're going to be making some pastry so that we can make those pastry tarts with a star on that you saw at the beginning. So what do we need for pastry? Well, we need some flour. Get that out of the cupboard. Some flour. And we need some butter. Over here. And we need some water. It's not amazing, that's all that goes into pastry. But now we've got to make it with something. We've got to measure out the right amount of flour, so we need the scales. These scales work with this bowl. And then we need a bowl to mix it in. And we need a sieve. So here's our bowl, and here's the sieve. The sieve keeps the flour so it doesn't have lumps in it. So first of all, we need to measure out our flour. We need 225 grams. So depending on the type of scales you have, mine, I've got watching a little needle move up 200. Now what sometimes happens when you're doing flour is you get just about there and then a whole bit wishes out. So don't worry about that, just put it back into the bowl. There we go. So the flour needs to go through the sieve. Get the air in the flour. There we are. And do this. But if you take your sieve too high and you shake it, oh dear, it can go everywhere. Whoops. So best to keep the sieve lower. Sometimes tapping against your hand, that's a good way of doing it. And sometimes, oh, more mine's gone through, but using a wooden spoon at the end is a good thing. So there we go, that's it for the sieve. So remember, not too high from the bowl. Now, we've got butter, and we need 100 grams of butter. So let's just see, wonder what I've guessed here. Not enough yet. A tiny bit more. So you keep just trying with a little bit. That's the good thing with cooking. You don't have to be sort of spot on first time. Now, with pastry, you've got to get this butter into the flour so it looks a bit like breadcrumbs. So it's a good idea to start by cutting it up. So you don't want to, I'm doing it, as you see, just on the edge of the packet, but you might want to do it on a board or on a plate. You could do it on a plate. But you don't want to obviously put a knife on the work surface. So you're cutting it up into little squares, or cubes rather. It's quite a good thing to do. Well, I remember showing some people pastry. I was sitting at home and someone suddenly said, "Can you show us how to make pastry?" So we did it virtually sitting on the floor around a very low table. That was quite a funny way to make pastry. So here we go, last few bits. Now, your hands are clean, I guess, because that's what we always do, wash our hands before we cook. And you're trying to get this into that. So the idea is you rub it together. You rub the flour and the butter together. Just show you with that bit there. You rub it. So you put your hands in like that and rub it. And you pick it up and rub. The idea is to keep it cool. So you're not trying to mash it all together like that, sort of push it down, but you're trying to do it so that it stays, as it were, crumbly. Like that. I'll do a bit more with two hands because that keeps it going. It takes a little while, this, you know. So don't be surprised. Sometimes you see things, don't you? And you see just a little bit, and then it moves on to the next thing. But this will take a little while. So don't worry. And when the butter's cold, which is a good thing, you have to press quite hard with it. You see how I'm moving my fingers? Now you don't have to. I'm doing it quite high so you can see some of them, but you can have your hands a bit lower in the bowl like that. And I wonder, do you think those wise men made pastry? I'm not so sure they did. I don't know what they'd have eaten coming across the desert with their camels. We often think it's camels, we're not told, are we? So, what else do we make with pastry? What do you enjoy that has pastry on it? Well, there's jam tarts, obviously, but then there's other kinds of things. There's banoffee pie, that has pastry on the bottom, I think. You can do meat pies with pastry. Whole variety of things. Here we go. Now, do you see how this is going? Hasn't got those great big lumps. It's got smaller lumps in it. And you're still rubbing those smaller lumps in till it becomes more and more like breadcrumbs. And if you're not quite sure, if you give it a little shake like that, some of the lumps come to the surface. So you think, oh, I've got a few more to do. So you just do those some more. And it gets there. It's quite amazing. As you keep going, it gets there much finer. Well, I hope you enjoyed your Christmas day. I wonder if did you have pastries? It was mince pies or something, wasn't it, that has pastry? I love mince pies. We used to have a tradition at home. You didn't offer somebody a mince pie. It's a very strange tradition, I thought. You didn't offer them a mince pie, but you just took the plate with the mince pies and passed it in front of them. And if they wanted one, they took it. And instead of saying, would you like a mince pie? I have no idea where that came from. Anyway, here we go with the pastry. This is now much finer. Do you see? See, look, that's much finer. Tiny little lump there, give it a little rub. So, now that we've done that, we need some water. And the idea is to put it in a little bit at a time and till this starts to stick together, but you don't want a great blobby mass like a mud pie. You want it still slightly, yeah, I'll show you if I can. So as you start to put the water in, you'll see the water there. Now that bit is now too wet, but of course there's lots more dry stuff. So keep stirring it, and you see how it starts to stick? That starts it sticking together. So this is almost a tricky bit. You don't want too much water. So just little by little, that's it, starts to stick. Do you see now it's beginning to stick together and pull in the dry bits at the edge? Does that make some sense? I have to keep looking down to see what I'm doing, otherwise I might spill it everywhere. Or I might put in too much water. That would be a shame, wouldn't it, if I suddenly put in too much water and ended up with a great sticky mess. There we go. I've just been stirring it with a fork. So here we are. Now do you see that sticking together there? Like that. That's just about right. It's quite soft. See that? Quite soft. Pick up the last little bits. Now we need cling film. Where's the cling film? Cling film. Cling film, right? Here we are. And nice piece of cling film. That down there. And then we can put the pastry in the cling film and wrap it up. Brilliant.
Great, thanks Annabelle. Who knew it was so easy to make pastry?
Move out of the way. I will show you how to do it. It is so simple. Just watch. Put it here. I put it there. It's very, very straight on. A little bit of extra. This is what they taught me at chef school. Excuse me. That's fine. And then you put, hold this for me, please, for the experiment. You put the flour in and you just really put it in. It goes wonderful. Oh, it's wonderful. See? That's as simple as that. That's why I, the great Friedrich, know how to make baked pastry, and I show you how. And then, of course, you give it all a big whisk, and it's gone fine. Just make sure it's fine in there. That's good. It's coming nicely. Very good. I hope you've learned that at home. Over to you, Sam.
What a mess! I hope it's going better for you at home. Well, now it's time to leave the pastry to chill, maybe in the fridge or maybe just on the side.
And we will continue to tell you the story of the three kings.
No, Friedrich, it's not three kings. It's many magi.
Ah, I get it. I think now, thank you. Please continue.
Okay, so King Baby Jesus was in Bethlehem. And the star that we saw earlier,
Here we go.
it goes ahead of the magi.
Here we go.
And it stops above
Right
the baby.
over Sam's head. And down over there.
Let me hold that for you.
Thank you.
Because you need to get the magi
I do.
who followed the star. And they came and they found the baby. And they bowed down and worshipped him.
Just like that?
Just like that, exactly, Friedrich.
Yeah, that's very good. But hang on. Where is King Herod?
Well, King Herod didn't come to worship the king. He didn't come to worship baby Jesus.
Why not?
Well, he wanted to be king himself, and he saw baby Jesus as a threat, so he decided he wanted to kill him.
Oh, nasty man, and I thought he was so nice, but look.
Yeah, he came across as really nice.
Nasty, nasty man.
He's actually really mean.
So, hang on. He's from Israel, and he won't worship. But these people who aren't from Israel, they will.
Yeah, foreigners, outsiders came a long way to come and worship King Baby Jesus. But the people you'd expect, the people who knew all of the information, they didn't come to worship the king. They wanted to kill him.
Wow. Oh, why is that happening then?
Well, God actually said long before that Gentiles, foreigners, would come and worship the baby king.
Ah, so it's God again.
Yeah, God's word never fails.
Ah, I get it.
Now it's time to make starry jam tarts. Now the first thing we need to do is turn our oven on. So mine's a fan oven, so I'm going to put it on 180, but if it isn't, I want to put it on 200. And your oven might be a gas oven, in which case turn it to number 6. Now, first thing I need to do is make sure that my work surface is clean and my hands are clean. Now I've done that already, but make sure you do that at home. And then we're going to sprinkle about a tablespoon of flour all over our nice clean surface, like this. And then we're going to take the pastry that you made and put it on the flour. And then we're going to roll it with the rolling pin, ready to make our starry jam tarts. We need to make sure we roll right to the edges so it's all nice and even. And there we go. So mine's about that thick, but if yours is a bit thinner or a bit thicker, that's okay too.
Now that we've got our pastry rolled out, we need to cut it into the right shapes. I wonder how we're going to do that. Well, in my kitchen, I've got shape cutters. I've got this one to do circles and this one to do stars. And we're going to do 6 of these circle ones and then 6 of these stars to go on the top. But don't worry if you don't have circles or stars. You can use a knife to cut star shapes by yourself if you're really good. Or you can use a mug to do the circle shapes. It works just the same. Okay, so how about count with me? See how many circles we can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll just show you how to do it with the mug, just so you know it works. 6, you just push a little bit firmer, and it cuts nicely. Oh, just cuts nicely like that. Wonderful. And then we do the same with the star. We do 1, 2, 3. Look at that lovely star shape. 4, 5, and then remember that if you want to, you can use the knife to cut a nice shape. Whoops, just get the 6th one in there. Make sure there's enough space. Wonderful. 6 star shapes. Now remember, if you run out of pastry on the first roll, once you've put them into the tray, you can roll up the pastry again and put it out again and make a couple more if you've got space. Nice. Now we need to put them into the tray. So I'm going to grab this. This is our muffin tray, and we're going to put the circles in the bottom of the tray. So we just pull them away from the pastry. There's one there. It can be a little bit fiddly, but oh, look at that. Beautiful circle. Right in there. Here goes the next one. You can help me count. I've got 2 ready to go now. It's the 3rd one here. Look at that. Oh, sticking a wee bit. Just straighten that out. Nice. So good. Oh, I'm so excited to eat these. Can't wait. 4th one. Nicely in there. 5th one, and look at, that's the spare pastry you can use if you need to make some more. 5th one just goes in there like that. And here is the last one. This is one we did with the mug, and I actually think it's the nicest of them all. There we go. Where is it going, I wonder? Right here in the muffin tray. Wonderful.
Now we've got our circles, I've put them in the tin. Now we can fill them up with some jam. I've got my jam here. If you get your spoon, you can start getting nice and generous bits of jam in each of those circles. Now at this point, it's important to say, you can make it even more special, each pastry even more special if you'd like. You can put some raisins, or you can put some nuts or little bits in each of your tarts. Or you can just keep it with jam if, like me, you just want to keep it nice and plain and simple with your jam. I need to have some more jam in here. Now we can start to put our stars on. Place them on carefully on top of the jam. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. Fast forward a little bit there, but now that's the tarts all done.
So now that we've done that, we have one last thing to do before we put our starry jam tarts in the oven. We have to put an egg wash on top. So I'll show you how to do this. You need to get a glass, and then a fork from your drawer, and then an egg. I've got one in my egg box here. You might need to get your mum, dad, or an older sibling to help you with this. You have to crack it into the glass. Be careful not to get any shell in there. There we go. And then you mix it with your fork until it's all the same colour. Really fast. How's it going? It should look a bit like that, so that it's all the same colour. There we go. Okay. And now if you have a pastry brush, you can use a pastry brush, but I'm just going to use my clean fingers. And you rub it on top of the stars. And it means that when they come out of the oven, they'll have a nice shine on top. Not quite as shiny as the real star that the wise men followed, but it will look really nice. Okay. There we go. My stars are all very shiny. And now we put it into the oven for 15 minutes. Oh, the oven's nice and hot. Here we go. Oh, careful not to burn yourself. We did it!
Tremendous success, no, Sam?
Yeah, our starry jam tarts are in the oven and they're going to be baking there for 15 minutes.
Tremendous.
So in that time, we can finish our true story from the Bible.
Whoa-hey! So, Sam, tell us the final bit. I'm all agog.
Okay, here we go, the final bit of our story. So here is King Baby Jesus with his parents, Mary and Joseph. And the Magi have come and they came to worship him. But they gave him really expensive presents.
Did they?
Can you remember, Friedrich, what presents were they?
Hold on, I get the brain in gear. Gold? Frankincense?
Mm-hmm.
Myrrh?
Yeah, that's right.
Huh.
And gold you'd expect to give to a king.
Yeah, cost a lot.
Frankincense as well you'd expect to give to a king.
Yeah.
But myrrh is something that you give to people who have died.
Oh, that is weird. Why would you give a coffin to a little baby?
Well, exactly. It's a really odd thing. It's really unexpected.
Yeah. So why did they do that?
Well, it's because King Baby Jesus had come to die for all of us, to take away the punishment that we deserve. God had sent him, and he really wanted to come to do this.
So that's why Christmas is good news of great joy, no?
Yeah, it's such great news. It's such joy because Jesus came to rescue us.
So I've learnt 3 things about God today. Sam, what are they? Can you remind us?
I will try. The first one is that there was an unexpected place that Jesus was born, but actually God knew and had foretold exactly where it would be.
I remember.
The second is that unexpected people came to worship the king, but actually God had said before that many unexpected people would worship this
I
king.
remember that too.
And the third thing is an unexpected gift, myrrh, which is for dead people.
Yeah.
But actually it showed what Jesus was going to do, what he'd come for, to rescue us through dying.
It's a wonderful story. And all to do with God, no?
All to do with God.
Thank you, Sam. You have helped me a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us at our Sunday Stories for Families Bake Along special.
Au revoir, mesdames et messieurs, and les enfants. Have a tremendous Christmas, enjoying your
Starry Jam Tarts.
Hey!
Goodbye!
Hey!